Now, the exact date may be a little off, but it was late 1991, early 1992, November, December, January timeframe. I was at Fort McClellan, Alabama for basic training, AIT, to be a chemical operations specialist. Back then it was 54 Bravo. And my drill sergeant at the time, who was one of my Facebook friends, said something that resonates to me, or said something to us that resonates to me, with me, to this day. From all that time ago. And he said, no task too great. He was the only drill sergeant in our company, more intimately, 1st Platoon Dragons, that they got rid of. But why is that relevant? It's relevant because it is like a foundation of resilience. It is a phrase or a statement that says you can accomplish anything if you put forth the effort. So what are we talking about here? There are millions, probably billions of people in the world who are struggling with alcohol abuse, substance abuse, or something. They're struggling. And somewhere in their mind, they have either convinced themselves, or that substance may have convinced them that there is no hope. That substance may have convinced them that they can't survive without it. And that's one layer of an issue. But let's look at another layer. Because there is a lot of emphasis placed on the person who is struggling with substance abuse, rightfully so. But I personally, this is my personal experience, I don't think there's enough put on the people who are collaterally affected by this. Now, I'm not a professional in mental health, substance abuse, or anything like that. I can only go off my experiences. And the one thing that substance abusers are unable to really grasp is the mental, physical, and emotional toll that they're placing on their family, friends, coworkers, or just innocent bystanders, like people who have nothing to do with their issues. substance abusers need to understand that they are putting people at great harm for a lot of things. One of the biggest things is the mental stress, because they're so worried about that person, which goes into a problem of them not being able to focus on their lives, them not being able to even get a good night's sleep or even maintain a healthy lifestyle. The other thing that substance abusers may not be able to grasp is that they are putting the people around them at risk for risk to be victims of crime. You know, when you are drunk, high, or whatever, and it doesn't matter where you live at, but you have to understand, or everybody has to understand, that there may be people watching. You know, you may be drunk, high, or whatever, and they're watching your actions. You go in and out of the house. They're watching, you know, they're watching these things, and they're looking for a vulnerable moment. I mean, just imagine that you're drunk and you're stumbling around, getting to a house, and someone just decides they want to take advantage of that situation and come in the house behind you. You know, you're a victim at that point. And you're placing everyone that may live with you at risk. Another thing that they may not grasp or understand is that you're more likely to make bad choices. Choices like doing things that could cause harm to other people. You may think in your inebriated state that you can cook with an open flame. You may think that you can drive. You may think that you can, you know, use chemical products to clean up. Hell, you may mix 2 or 3 things together and become a victim yourself. You know, there's a lot of things that can be the result of someone who is a substance abuser. One thing that I've also noticed, observed, or has been ingrained more deeply is substance abusers feel like nobody cares about them. Especially when they are under the influence. But let me tell you something. Substance abusers, or even people who are dealing with substance abusers, but more importantly, the substance abusers, there may be times where you think people don't care about you or your well-being, or whether you get better or not, or whether you live or not. Keep one thing. Excuse the train. But keep one thing in mind. If somebody is constantly expending their energy, physical, mental, emotional energy, trying to talk to you about your problems, trying to encourage you to get help, that means they care. Another thing that you need to keep in mind, kid gloves ain't for everybody. You know, sometimes they say, oh, speak softly, try not to upset them, and all of that. Look here. Those of us who are on the collateral side of someone who is dealing with substance abuse, we're not built to deal with people with kid gloves when they are constantly disrupting our lives, when they are putting themselves at risk, and they're putting us at risk. That may sound a little selfish. It just might. But sometimes you have to be selfish when it comes to your boundaries, your peace of mind, your safety. Sometimes you have to be selfish. And as much as you want to try to support people or help them through whatever they're going, at some point they're going to wear out that support. At some point they have to dig deep and say, I need to get it together, because the people around me don't deserve what I'm putting them through. Now I'm going to say something that I probably should have said in the beginning of this video, but I'm going to say it where it falls, because that's when it came to my mind. If you are dealing with something, physically, mentally, or emotionally, go get help. Go get professional help if you yourself are not equipped to think through it reasonably, productively, and constructively. Go get help. It doesn't matter if you're a man, woman, or child. It doesn't matter what you think of yourself or what you think other people think of you. Everybody has a bad day. Nobody is exempt from having a bad day. I promise you that. So instead of first putting yourself through stuff that is damaging to you, mentally, physically, and emotionally, go get help for you. Secondly, go get help for the people who are close to you, that are on the receiving end of whatever you're doing. And third, go get help for the people who don't have anything to do with your situation. So let me break that down real quick. So you're getting help for you because you're dealing with something that you can't get through on your own. And it's causing you to do things that are putting you at harm. Secondly, go get for the people that are around you that are trying to help, that care for you. Do it for them, because you're putting them through things physically, mentally, emotionally. You're putting them through things. And third, for the people that have nothing to do with whatever's going on with you, your choices can put them at risk. And the negative side of that is when or if you put yourself in a position where you cause great bodily harm or death to yourself, you're not going to have a choice but to get sober. And then you're going to have to live with whatever you did to yourself. When it comes to your family, friends, and loved ones, if you cause great bodily harm to yourself or death, they have to deal with what you did. And when it comes to people who have absolutely nothing to do with whatever you're going through, and you cause great bodily harm or death to an innocent person, not only do you have to deal with it, your family, friends, and loved ones have to deal with it. That person that you cause great bodily harm to has to deal with it. And regardless if you cause great bodily harm or death to that person, their family, friends, and loved ones have to deal with it. Now, I probably won't get through to a lot of people out there who are dealing with some type of substance abuse or anything like that. But I just wanted to say it because I've had this bottled up for about 4 years. 5 years at this point. And I'm pretty sure somebody out there is going to hear me who is struggling, or someone out there who knows someone is struggling and is in that circle is going to hear me. Maybe share the word, or maybe find a way to speak to that person. Who knows? This is not a public service announcement. I am not a professional. I have training in certain things, but at the end of the day, no task too great. You don't have to do anything alone. Dig deep for yourself, first and foremost, for the people who love you, and for the people who have nothing to do with what you're going through. That's all I got. Peace.